Welcome back to Arise Entertainment 360. We're still sitting with Reverend Jesse Jackson, the man himself. Thank you again for joining us. And
Thank you so much.
We have to talk a little bit about your legacy and your history, because you were there. You were one of the people marching with Martin Luther King Jr. And we're now at the 50th anniversary of his assassination.
Well, you know, 7 of my classmates, we were jailed trying to use a public library in Greenville, South Carolina. That's part of my work, pulling those walls down. I was there when he gave the speech in March on Washington. The day he gave that speech, from Texas to Florida to Maryland, we couldn't use a single public toilet.
Wow.
Black and brown soldiers to sit behind Nazi prisoners of war on American military bases, talking about Kaepernick bound on one knee. Black soldiers could not, the flag meant more to the Nazis than it meant to us, for example. And then another phase was the right to vote, which was the crown jewel of our struggle. The President, Attorney General, says that the right to vote was an infringement upon the South. He has made a new South, made a new America. We went from the bridge in Selma in 1965 to the White House in 2008 because we built a new coalition. Blacks could not vote. White women couldn't serve on juries. 18-year-olds couldn't vote. You couldn't vote on college campuses. You couldn't vote bilingually. We changed that, and we changed the country. So,
but do you think things have changed, really, and a lot of things that we're going through in today's society?
Well, we had such a deep hole to come out of. Our will to fight must not change. The headwinds may become stiffer. And I think about, in spite of what Trump, when I looked at the big game between Alabama and Georgia, the big college game this year, and the millions of people watching it, I cannot help but think about George Wallace on the school door saying, "You can't come here." And Lester Maddox with the axe hound saying, "You can't come here." Watch those black and white kids play together and function, learn how to live together. And when you look at the Super Bowl game, in just a few days from now, it'll be 80% blacks on both sides of the ball. In my childhood, only blacks couldn't play professional football, certainly couldn't play quarterback. So in spite of the Trump setbacks, there's a tug of war for the soul of America. We must not give up the rope. People who don't vote give up the rope, and no one has earned the right to give up the rope if they expect progress.
But buttressing Shannon's point in terms of whether things have changed societally speaking, where do you think the state of race relations are currently in today's political climate versus where they were 10, 20, or even 30 years ago?
Well, the climate in many ways is hostile because Trump has aroused so many fears among white people. You have white people, for example, who were against Obamacare before affordable health care. Same thing. So they didn't want the eggs. They had been scared into becoming irrational. President Obama was good for white people. When he came in office, we lost 800,000 jobs that month. So net gain of jobs every month for 8 years. 25 million Americans had health insurance who never had it before, many of whom were his staunch enemies. Cuba's back in the fold. Climate change agreements, which will save people like Puerto Ricans and the Caribbean and from going on the water. So you look at 8 years of progress. Now you see him turning the clock back. The clock can go back, but time ain't going back. We're going forward.
So what can we do to still increase opportunities for people of color, for women? You know, because if the clock is going back, we're losing those privileges, those opportunities.
Well, one thing is vote. We've lost some big races by the margin of surrendering our vote. We won some big ones this year by using that, but we won, I repeat, we won in Virginia. One guy embraced the Confederate flag. Our guy didn't, he won. One guy embraced the same kind of violent rhetoric in Alabama, he lost, we won. Same as we didn't have two black lieutenant governors. That's just the beginning. If we take the Congress and the House back this year, Trump would be less able to impose upon us his will, because we have a weapon. When Donald came to life for 50 years, we didn't have the weapon. We had hope, now we have the vote. So you can hope and vote at the same time.
The audacity of hope.
Yes, there you go.
Now, in the lead up to Black History Month, we have to ask, how will you be celebrating?
Well, a lot of teaching. You know, one thing is that you cannot spend more than you have and vote less than you have and make progress. You can't spend more than you make and vote less than you have and make progress. The other thing is that our journey is not so immediate. We will have been here 400 years next year, 2019. We came in 1619, 400 years, 246 years in legal slavery, 100 years in legal Jim Crow, extension of slavery, all those lynchings. And yet we come out of that bloody but not bowed. We are a determined people, and I'm impressed with what we've done, given where we've come from. be inspired.
We've come a long way, and you were part of that, as we mentioned earlier, marching with King, and now at the 50th anniversary of his assassination. You talk about teaching. So what is the most important thing you think you learn alongside Dr. Martin Luther King?
Well, one of them is strong minds break strong chains. Nothing like a developed mind. Dr. King finished high school at 15, finished college at 19. He has seminary degree at 22 and his PhD at 26.
Wow.
Strong minds break strong chains. The second piece of it is that leveraging your votes into coalitions and leveraging your dollars into build economic coalitions. And thirdly, lastly, is when you choose issues, be morally right. Right has been, Rosa Parks was mostly right. Those who marched for the right to vote were mostly right. There's something about there's a power in just being morally right in the issues that and I might add this week, Reverend Y.T. Walker died. One of the big four pillars of Birmingham, Fred Shuttlesworth, Reverend Abernathy, Dr. King, and Y.T. Walker. And Hugh Masekela, a globetrotter against apartheid, a classic musician. So we remember them in very, very dear and loving ways.
So speaking of these legends that you just mentioned, of course there are many youth of ethnic minorities who are looking for leadership positions in the future. What advice would you give them?
Ahmed Baraka's son is now mayor of Newark. Once it was we went to a kill, never go through a door. You can run for school board and city council, state legislature, and Congress, and Senate. And There's nothing we cannot do. And so, like, don't cry about it. Go for it. If we go for it, if you win, you might lose. You don't win, you don't run. You're guaranteed to lose. So fight back.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point, because you've been fighting back.
Deep water does not drown you. You drown when you stop kicking. Don't stop kicking.
Don't stop kicking.
I like
and you
that.
have never stopped kicking. I can't believe you've been in almost every movement, empowerment, and economic, social justice movement there has been. What do you say to those people who are negative and say, the Rainbow Push Coalition, the NAACP, National Urban League, things like that are not doing anything for this generation? What do you say to those people?
Every generation has its own set of, for example, there are top 500 corporations, only 50% have a black on the board of directors. Fight for that. You can buy shares of stock and fight in shareholders meetings. Fight for that. You got colleges you can go to them and then vigorously commit yourself to pursue academic excellence. Fight for that. In New York and Pennsylvania and California and Michigan, you can only vote one day. You have no early voting. Fight for that. You should have automatic voter registration. But there are things to fight for and issues to fight about. I look at the kind of work that Reverend Sharpton does, the kind of work the Urban League and Mark Mariel does. There's work to be done, and people are doing it. The Black Caucus is protesting.
And you're doing it as well. Tell people one more time where they can get more information about the Wall Street Project for the Economic Summit you're put on.
Well, first, 773-FREEDOM on the phone, 773-FREEDOM. And I will be at the Sheraton Hotel the Wednesday night, the 7th. We're going to have a town hall meeting on where's the money. Urban League, Black Enterprise, and the like. Reverend Al Sharpton, Brother Mark Mariel. We're going to talk about where's the money as an economist. And then Thursday is a major ministers' luncheon that day. We want 1,000 churches to get in those inter-Sunday school space, about 20 laptops, teach our children apps and codes, teach them financial literacy and stock market games, teach them how to function.
That's amazing.
So this is February 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Sheraton Hotel.
In New York City.
In New York City. Thank you so much for joining us, Rev.
Not worthy, not worthy. Thank you.
Well, I'm worthy. Thank you for joining us, Sam. Yes, and we will be right back with more Rise Entertainment 360. Thank you so much.
You know what you're talking about, all right?